Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Music and Moonsalts. I am your host, Chris Bourdine. Sitting here to my left, your right. He's got a body built for sin and an appetite for passion. It's my brother, Kyle.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Kyle, what's going on, man?
Not much. What about you?
Just sitting here, getting ready to talk about the hottest band in the world with my brother.
That's right.
Uh,
Good times. Good times.
Great times. We are talking about the Kiss album Revenge, which is, believe it or not, 30 years old. This is the first Kiss album you were alive for.
Yeah.
You're like a year
And
little
only
over.
fully listened to it probably a few years ago.
Well, it happens. Obviously both of us are, raised Kiss fans, a tradition I'm continuing.
Mm-hmm.
Got my 1.5-year-old son running around sticking his tongue out all over. It's a great time.
Yes, sir.
Love it.
Freaks out anytime Kiss comes on.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
He instinctively knows when a Kiss song comes on
Yeah.
because he sticks his tongue out.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it for any other band.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I love it.
I'm
You're doing the Lord's work.
I'm good at parenting. This is this is in my top 5 Kiss studio albums of all time.
My top 2.
Okay. All right.
This is my second favorite.
This is number 4.
Hot in the Shade is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a hot take. Cuz and we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But I respect it.
A lot of respect.
Yes. But yeah, I think this is my favorite era of the band. It's my favorite lineup of the band.
Definitely.
I wish we got more out of this band. But
I wish I would have been able to see this lineup live.
Right. Well, yeah, that would have been a problem. That would have been a problem. That would not have been good parenting on Dad's part.
I mean, which one of us was Mom pregnant with when they went to see Kiss?
That was you.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
see, there we go.
I saw Night Ranger in the womb.
There we go.
So, but yeah, it's just a great album, and we're gonna talk all about it here. Normally, I go to the internet for my research to do these. Not today. No. I got 2 books here. One of them is I think this is the first Kiss book I ever owned. Kiss Behind the Mask, the official biography. It's a pretty good book. There's a few different sections in it. There's there's like an interview portion that was done, like, I think during the Dynasty tour or something like that. There's the actual biography, and then they got like a album by album, track by track breakdown of everything up through Psycho Circus, I think. So yeah, I use this, and then also this book, Take It Off, Kiss Truly Unmasked by Greg Prato. This is all about all things Kiss non-makeup, which is right up my alley.
Non-makeup Kiss is my favorite Kiss.
It's mine too. To be
like, I enjoy
honest.
the makeup stuff.
It's weird too, because like
But
I say that, I said Revenge was number 4 on my top 5 list. The top 3 are all makeup albums, but I think 4 and 5 are both non-makeup, and I would say if I were to extend it further, I think 6 probably would be non-makeup as well. And yeah, I think it's because it's the era that doesn't get enough love, and there's just some really great stuff during this era, especially on this album. So I've got the cover up there on the screen, but there's I had to buy a couple years ago when I started doing getting vinyl. I had to buy this. There's the back cover, which this is the coolest band picture, Kiss band picture ever. And I to get a better look of it, I gotta pull this up here. Look at that. Look at that. That is cool right there. Those big dusters and
Good old Eric Singer, the only one with blonde hair.
yeah.
What a rebel.
Yeah. And Bruce with like studs on his sleeves. It's awesome.
Honestly, I think Gene looks scarier in the non-makeup years than he does with his face paint.
Well, so, you know, one of the things that really pops me about this is if you look on the back, and there's always like you know, so back in the day it would always be like Kiss plays Pearl drums and Gibson guitars because they only want the best or whatever, something like that. Well, here it's like, so Bruce Kulick plays ESP guitars with SIT strings through Marshall amps. Eric Singer uses Zildjian cymbals, Pearl drums, and DW pedals. Gene Simmons plays the BC Rich Punisher. Paul Stanley refuses to kiss ass. Yeah, and this is the first era that Gene's using the Punisher bass, and it's the bass that he uses to this day. This is the era where Paul went back to Ibanez, even though he refuses to kiss ass. He went back to using his Ibanez signature, the PS10, which is my favorite guitar of all time. And so that was pretty cool. And you know, as much as we both just talked about how much we love all the 80s now makeup stuff, you kind of were joking about it, but they look pretty silly through some of that time.
Oh yeah.
But it was how bands looked then, you know, with bright neon colors. And
this was very much, I mean, maybe it wasn't actually, but I feel like it was very much like, oh, grunge is starting to become a thing. They're starting to look a little meaner.
That was definitely part of it.
Like we need to kind of look that part too a little bit.
Yeah, that was definitely part of it. But more so than anything, it was especially in Gene's case, it was their manager at the time, Larry Mazer, you know, before he started managing the band. I think Hot and Shade was pretty much done. I think they may have already been on tour when he came aboard. And before they did this album, he kind of pretty much like sat him down and it was like, Gene, you need to cut the crap. Stop, you know, stop managing Liza Minnelli. Stop managing your own record label. Like, you need to be in this band 100%. And he did. And he, you know, he, like you said, the goatee, and this is by far the best, definitely the best he looked in the non-makeup years was this time. Paul could get away with the all the 80s clothes because he was Paul Stanley. But he, you know, he looked pretty cool in this time too.
Because Paul's, you know, the Star Child character has kind of always been that kind of walk the line a little bit on, you know, in the fashion way of like, he can wear some of the, I don't necessarily want to say girlier stuff, but you know, I mean, Paul's always kind of been the one women find the most attractive usually. They gravitate more towards Paul. Gene, not so much, you know. They liked the tongue. That was about
right. Yeah.
So,
so this album came out May 19th, 1992. The previous album that you talked about, Hot in the Shade, had a big hit on it with Forever. But it was a very disjointed album. They didn't use a producer. and they produced it themselves, which basically consisted of Paul and Gene each recording their own demos, and it basically is an album full of demos.
Yeah.
As opposed to like an actually produced album, and it's kind of, I think the biggest knock on it, besides the production, is that it's a little bloated. Like there's 15 songs on that album.
Oh yeah.
And there probably could be a few less, and it would make the album a little bit better. But the tour, legend as the legend goes, which our father saw, I think he saw that one twice. I think that's
so
the one
too.
he saw twice.
Yeah.
It's kind of where like they kind of clicked and was like, oh, well, we can still move forward as a band, but we can also like remember our past.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the tour where they brought out a lot of the old songs that they hadn't played in a long time, like I Stole Your Love and I Want You, and it had the cool stage with the Sphinx.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. And then Eric Carr got sick, and so things were on pause, and then they got asked to record a song for the second Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And that's kind of where the genesis of this album begins, is that because they go ahead and they ask Bob Ezrin, the legendary producer, let's work on this song together to kind of see if we can work together again. Because Ezrin produced Destroyer, which is widely regarded as their best album. But then he also produced Music from the Elder, which is widely regarded as their
Worst album.
Yep. And at the time, he was had a lot of problems and stuff, and that kind of contributed into why that album is so bad. So they're like, all right, well, let's do this and see where you're at, and we'll go from there. So the song they did was God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too, which is on this album as well. But I think that we got to start with that song. Because like I said, it's kind of where it started. This is like, it's a cover, but they changed a lot of the lyrics.
Yeah. It's like their take on it.
Yeah. It was originally recorded by a band named Argent, and it was written by their singer Russ Ballard. You and we know that song because it was also done by a Christian band named Petra.
Yep.
So, and I think that's kind of how we got into Petra, because I think we knew this song, and then like,
yeah, I think so.
And then like I was like at the library, and they had Petra CDs, and that's when we were first started kind of getting into the Christian music stuff, and it was like, oh wow, like they do this song too?
Totally different.
It's totally different, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it worked out great. And so they decided to proceed with recording a new album, even though their drummer was really sick at the time.
I say, so now for God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too, they brought Singer in to record it, right?
Yes, yeah. They brought in Eric Singer, who played with was playing with Alice Cooper at the time, but he had played with Black Sabbath and a bunch of people. And he played for in like '89. Paul did a solo tour of like small clubs and theaters, and he was the drummer for that, and that's kind of how that relationship started.
Yeah.
So yeah, they decided they got to move forward and at least record a new album, and hopefully Eric Carr gets better, and then he can rejoin the band for the tour or whatnot. So they get in the studio with Bob Ezrin and they start recording Revenge. So before we really dive in, kind of, what do you think of God Gave Rock and Roll to You, and kind of and all that kind of stuff?
It's between that and the original version. I mean, my favorite. I do like, but for the music video for it though.
Yes.
They had Eric Carr come.
Yeah,
he played, or he was in the video.
He was
the
in the
one playing
video,
drums.
and he actually did come in and record background vocals.
Yep.
For the song too. The
So
quiet.
I did some research
Yeah.
too.
The quiet section after the guitar solo.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of harmonies and stuff. He's singing background on that. Yeah, I think I really like the song too. I love how, like in the past with like Shout It Out Loud, they'd have songs where like Gene would sing or Paul would sing a section and Gene would sing a section. This is them trading lines back and forth, and I really like that dynamic with them.
Honestly, this is a song that I've wanted to cover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we were we're playing everything. I wanted to do this one, but I think Dad would veto it. I don't think he ever wanted.
It's a hard one.
Is it?
Yeah, because there's key changes and everything. It's
I'm a drummer. I don't understand that stuff.
Right. So ultimately, you know, Eric Carr ends up tragically passing away. And they make the decision that Eric Singer will become the next drummer of the band. So, and I know he's would I be correct saying he's your favorite drummer? Or is he's up
favorite
there?
Kiss drummer.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
He's up there though, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
okay.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
All
He's
right.
definitely up there.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, I mean, tragic. You know, Eric Carr passing away is just is horrible. It's tragic. Having Eric Singer be the next drummer was the best decision that they could have made in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because just listening, you know, I re-listened to Revenge this week, and just, if I didn't know that it was a drummer change before listening to it, I would have been able to tell.
Yeah. From
listening to the Eric Carr albums to go into this one, it's honestly night and day.
Yeah.
Eric Carr was a great drummer. I just feel like Eric Singer was the better fit for Kiss.
I can see that.
Especially in this era.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Yep.
Peter was good, you know, to start.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely for this era, Eric Singer was.
Yeah, I think everyone that they've had has, as far as the drummers go, have came around at the exact right times.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think Peter was the perfect drummer for them to start, and then when Peter left, I think Eric Carr was the perfect one because he kind of brought them back to that hard, you know, more of a hard rock style drumming. Whereas you know, Peter wasn't really a hard rock drummer.
No, he was more like a jazz drummer.
Yeah. You know, Eric was more of a hard rock drummer, and that, you know, that helped, you know, once they got to Creatures and then, you know, through the 80s and stuff. And then, but yeah, no, Eric Singer is just a solid, just awesome.
Each one has elevated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I agree. So the album peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200, which at the time was their second highest charting album. Love Gun peaked at number 4 back in the day. Since then they've, you know, because the way the record business is, you know, they've had other albums peak at 2 and 3, but yeah, number 6, that's pretty good. Even though the album, you know, it only went gold, it hasn't gone platinum, which I think is a crime, but
yes, definitely.
So the album kicks off with Unholy, and like this right off the bat, it's the first single, which is it's the first Gene single since I Love It Loud. I think I was going through it in my head. I didn't actually like look it up, so I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure this is the first time a Gene song has kicked off a record ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you're correct there.
If I'm wrong on that, and go ahead and leave a comment and say, hey, dummy, no, you're wrong. But I'm pretty sure this is the first studio album. Let me specify, because obviously Kiss Alive starts with Deuce.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure this is the first studio album that starts with the Gene song.
So I have to say, almost because we're starting, this song starts the album. We're starting with this. A lot of these songs have been ruined for me by Alive 3 and Unplugged.
Right. Yeah. Well, ruined.
This one especially.
Yeah.
Not ruined necessarily, but
These versions are
ruined.
They don't sound quite right.
Yes, I do not. I much prefer the live versions of a lot of the,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These songs because of that. I mean, honestly, I love the Kiss Alive albums, but I hate them at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, just makes the studio version sound that much, it just makes them sound not so good. So.
Yeah. But this is this could very easily have been a makeup Gene Simmons song. It's very.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the title alone, Unholy.
Oh yeah.
But this was the first indication of what this album was going to be like, and it was like a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. Again, you and I can't really put into context exactly what it was like, because you were definitely too young.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Dad having the cassette in the car and listening to it, but as far as the nuance and the perspective and stuff like that, obviously I don't have it because I was 5 at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's it's got the video's cool, and
when they play it live now, the production is just incredible.
Yeah. But the video's cool, and Paul excuse me, in the video is he's got a vest on, but under the vest is a t-shirt, and you can clearly say the t-shirt has the F word on it, but they cover it enough so that they won't get in trouble. But yeah, so it's
can't show that on MTV,
right? And actually, another interesting thing about this album, Vinnie Vincent came back and co-wrote.
Yeah, I did. I do remember seeing that when I was.
This is one of them. So, really great song. One of my top, it's in my top 5 of Gene songs. It's just, and I'm a guy who actually likes. I think he gets a lot of crap for his 80s output. And I think yes, there are times, especially Animalize is a low point for him. But I think on both Asylum and on Crazy Nights, Gene's got some really great stuff on both those albums, personally. But this is far and away a multiple levels above those.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we go my favorite song on the album, Take It Off. I play bass, so you'd think Gene Simmons got to be your favorite member of Kiss. Oh no. It's Paul Stanley.
Oh yeah.
Paul Stanley's the GOAT. I don't care what anyone says. And this is him at the height of his powers. He was an okay singer in the 70s, and in the 80s, he really ramped it up and was hitting
he pushed it
ungodly notes. This is him where he's got that range, but he knows how best to use it. He's like a wrestler that can do a bunch of crazy moves, but then even when they really get it is when they learn when not to do those moves.
Mm-hmm.
That's Paul Stanley here.
Oh yeah.
And this is the perfect song.
Mm-hmm.
It's an anthem to strip clubs. And it's actually the only song on the album that Eric Singer did not play on. They had Kevin Valentine come in and play drums, and he did a lot of drum work on Psycho Circus too. But yeah, he had to. I guess the story is he recorded a drum track, and it they weren't really happy with it, but he had to go on a European tour with Alice.
Okay.
So they brought in Kevin to do it.
They Dave Grohled him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he knew about it, so that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And
honestly though, but he took what was recorded and made it his own on Alive 3 because it just and
yeah, it's a shame
he
the
took
song
it that much higher with.
It's a shame the song that isn't on Alive 3 proper.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because it really should be.
I forget how I acquired my version.
Well, it's on like it was like on the international version, and so like
that's
if you go to the like in the 2000s sometime they released like a box set with all three. It was the 3 Alives and then the one that was supposed to be Alive 4, but they didn't end up releasing as Alive 4, the Millennium concert.
Oh, okay.
But on that version of Alive 3, it's on there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I it's a great song, and they did it on the Kiss Cruise last year, and it sounded pretty good actually.
Yeah.
And then the next song is "Tough Love," another great Paul song here. Bruce actually plays the bass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was like one of those things where it's a really cool riff during the verse. And it's just one of those things where, he's like, do you want me to teach you to you? And Gene's like, nah, you go ahead and do it.
Gene's like, that's too complicated for me. Yeah. I'm not even gonna. We're never gonna play this live.
And this is one of those songs I was talking about where Eric Singer just shines. His fills, going from like the pre-chorus into the chorus, it's just awesome. Drumming his ass off.
Oh yeah.
Great song. Anything else on that?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
All right. Then we get Spit.
Yes.
Which is there's this thing on this album where they do this like, how can we say swear words without saying swear words?
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of them. So instead of it don't mean shit to me, it's it don't mean spit to me. It's basically Gene's ode to larger women. Hey. And this is one of those songs where like they trade, like Gene sings the verses, and then
Paul comes in on
like the pre-chorus, and like they trade lines back and forth during the choruses.
Mm-hmm.
And in the guitar solo, there's Bruce plays part of the Star Spangled Banner, and then they ended up playing the entire Star Spangled Banner on the tour, and that's on Alive 3. So, and they also, if you watch like the full version of Kiss Unplugged,
they
do it.
Kind of turns into like a country version, doesn't it?
No, that was God of Thunder.
Was that God of Thunder? Yeah. That's what that was.
And then God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too closes out side 1. Or no, it doesn't close out side 1. Sorry, excuse me. But we've already talked about that. Domino closes out side 1. This is the one for me that you were talking about earlier, where you listen to the studio version after the live and the unplugged versions, and it's just like.
But honestly, I can't decide which live version I like better.
It's the Live 3 version because they can say balls.
See, but from a drum standpoint.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Eric does this wicked fill.
Yeah.
In the unplugged version that I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
Right.
And it. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm not even gonna describe the reaction I have when he does it.
Okay. I just for me it's
yeah.
It's like, really? You couldn't say "Got Me by the Balls" on MTV?
Nope. Of course not.
So this is the 3rd single on the album, and so again, their manager at the time, Larry Mazer, he really wanted this to be the 2nd single. Like he wanted to go back to back Gene songs, and like it was. I guess you could kind of tell it was making Paul like upset. Like he didn't say anything, but like they could tell. And then so finally Gene called Larry and was like, "You got to do a Paul song next." And Larry's like, "I don't think that's the right move. I really think we need to go hard. And no, you need to do a Paul song." And so they did "I Just Wanna" as the 2nd single instead, and then Domino. And so. Who knows what would have happened if it would have made things sell better or not, but
whether it would have made things sell better, I think it could have been pretty bad for Gene and Paul's relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
because leading up to this
'cause
point, because Gene was kind of
yeah, I was just gonna say I could
away from the band.
I can definitely see from Paul's perspective how he's like, all right, so through the 80s, I basically carried this band on my back, and while Gene was trying to be in movies and whatever else he was doing, and now all of a sudden, like, he's back, and you want to make it the Gene show, you want, like, what?
Yeah,
I could definitely see why that would make Paul upset.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, so they go with I Just Wanna and Domino third. So that ends side 1. Side 2 opens with Heart of Chrome, another Paul song, another great Paul song. For the wrestling connection, the moonsaults and the music of moonsaults. This song was covered by Chris Jericho.
Yes,
in
that was a great cover.
His non-makeup Kiss cover band Quarantine with a K, and it is a really great cover. And Chris and Paul are friends, and
they have Bruce. Was that the one they had Bruce come on for?
Bruce. Yeah. They actually had Bruce come and play the solo on it. But Chris Jericho and Paul Stanley are friends, and so the first song they did was No 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 off of Crazy Nights, the Gene song, and then like everyone, both Gene and Paul were like, wow, that's really cool, that's a great job. So they decide they're going to do this one. So he tells Paul, hey, we're going to do Heart of Chrome next, and Paul's like, you sure? And he's like, if you can do that in the original key, like, you have my utmost respect. And they did it, like, because this is like the choruses especially is high.
Yes,
it's very high. Again,
I don't know how he did it.
Like I said, he was just
No, I'm saying Jericho.
I don't know
how Jericho did it.
Then probably some studio magic. I'm
probably.
assuming.
I would assume.
But so yeah. So that's it's another just great. The albums are just very heavy. The songs on this album are very heavy, and lots of good stuff here. Next song, Thou Shalt Not, which is the Gene song. And Gene got the title of the song from someone told him that they went and saw a girl band and that they sucked, but their name was called Thou Shalt Not. And he's like, hey, that's a great song title. I'm going to take it.
It's like whenever Logan would say, new band name, I call it.
Yeah. Bruce's solo on the song is a really, I really like it. That's probably the best part of that song. Yeah.
I just like how it starts and
yeah.
It repeats that multiple times during the
yeah.
Yeah.
And Gene sings really good on this album too. Like,
oh yeah,
we spend a lot of time praising Paul's vocals. Gene's singing his ass off on this album too. Excuse me. And then we get Every Time I Look at You. Now, I love Paul Stanley ballads. I love Reason to Live. I love Forever. This one doesn't do it for me.
You don't like this one?
Not as much.
Oh, I like this one.
Like, it's like out of those, it's third, and it's like not even in the same zip code for me. It's okay. I can see what they were trying to do. They did release it as the last single, but by that time, like, grunge is in full control, and maybe if they would have done it maybe if they released that one second instead of I Just Wanna, I might have had a chance, because even in '92 there were still some To Be With You by Mr. Big was still a hit, even though grunge was around. There were still a few power ballads still making their way on the charts, but by the time they got to this point, it was over. The version they do on Unplugged with the the orchestra or whatever, the string section, is okay.
See, now that I would have preferred to have seen like Forever.
Right. Yes. Yes, I think we talked about that when we did
I think so too.
the unplugged unplugged episode. But yeah, I agree. But you know,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. So Bruce did not play the solo. They had Dick Wagner come in. I guess Bruce just couldn't get, couldn't get the right feel or whatever. So they brought in Dick Wagner, who I believe he's the one who replaced Ace on Destroyer on the Sweet Pain solo.
Okay.
So, and he has history with Ezrin. Ezrin uses him a lot for ghost guitar work.
Okay.
So yeah, I found that interesting. Then we get Paralyzed. It's okay. I love I love how the song just starts with this signature Gene Simmons bass slide, just an extended one too. Just apparently Ezrin, there's that section right before the solo where it's just the drums and you can kind of hear some talking or whatever. I'm guessing that's where it was. I guess Ezrin wanted to bring in someone and rap during that part.
No, that wouldn't. I'm glad that didn't happen.
So
that would have been bad.
They didn't do that. But yeah, it's an okay song, but it's definitely on the lesser end for me on the album.
That intro after the slide, it reminds me of like a Trans-Siberian Orchestra song.
Oh.
Like I'll have to find it and play it for you later.
Okay.
But it's that or like almost like a Satriani type of instrumental thing. Like I wasn't when I first listened to it, I wasn't expecting like a full song to come out of it.
Right.
So
Gotcha. And then lastly, we've got, or no, not lastly. I mean, the last real song, I guess.
Song with lyrics.
Yeah, there you go. Good save. I Just Wanna, the aforementioned, the song that was the second single. Again, the live version just kind of blows it away. Paul kind of ripping off Summertime Blues here a little bit. But, whatever. What's that saying about
Just a little.
Whatever, imitation being the sincerest form of flattery, I guess. Again, and this is them trying to get away with saying swear words on the radio. I just want to get you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Whoop.
I was like, when I first heard it, I think the first verse, I heard it first on the Live 3.
Yeah.
And I thought he legit was saying.
Yeah, because he goes, there's a magic word, and that word is fuck. Whoop, whoop. Like, whoops. So. But he's not. He's saying forget you.
Yeah. Paul was very he once they took the makeup off, he dove into that
oh yeah. He
was dropping F-bombs left and right.
Yeah. Well, because they were trying to get away, like towards the end of the makeup era, there was like, oh, you're too kiddie now. You're too family. It's too many kids here.
It's too
like,
campy.
I'll show you. I'll start dropping F-bombs and talking about the nurses like servicing me at the doctor's office and stuff like that. But the
good old Paul.
Yeah. The real end of the album, Car Jam 1981. And there's actually a note about this on the back of the album. Notes on Car Jam 1981. During the Christmas break, while going through the vaults, Ezrin came across an old 24 track of a hot riff written by Eric Carr and recorded by us in Toronto in May of 1981, which would have been, around the time of The Elder, when they were recording music from The Elder. It included a thunderous drum solo, the only one Eric ever recorded. We left the original bass, drum, and Paul's guitar as they were recorded in 1981, and overdubbed Bruce on lead guitar. We cut it down in length so that the drum solo became the featured part. We included it here because it was a chance for us to all remember how great Eric really was. which I think is a cool little tribute to him.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting. Like, I want to know. So the bones of this song is actually became a song on Ace's first solo album after leaving Kiss. Frehley's Comment, a song called Breakout. The riff, it's the riff, and the other riff at the end of Car Jam that is the outro of the song is the riff that's played during the chorus. So it's weird, and so Eric has a writing credit on it on Ace's album, and so I'm not sure why. I'm assuming they wrote it together, so I'm not sure why Ace doesn't get a writing credit here. I'm assuming he's the part that they overdub Bruce with. That would stand to reason.
I'm gonna. It's a pretty good guess.
But either way, it's cool. It's cool to get have an Eric Carr drum solo on tape.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said,
it's cool for the album that comes out right after he passes to be like, all right, well, you know what? Here's a tribute to to this guy who's played with us for better part of a decade, or was it a full decade?
Yeah, it was pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it was close.
So
if it wasn't a full decade, it was right there.
Yeah.
So right on the cusp. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think we covered it.
I think so.
Anything else left to say?
I love Eric Singer.
There you go.
I mean, that's about. I mean,
we'll end it there. So yeah, go ahead, go check this album out, guys. We're obviously biased when it comes to all things Kiss, but I definitely think, especially if you're into more of like a hard rock type, I think you would find this album quite enjoyable. So yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at IBNSChris. If you are watching this, then you can find the audio on all your podcast platforms. If you're listening to the audio, please go to musicandmoonsalts.com when it'll take you right to the YouTube page. Please subscribe and leave a thumbs up on this video and comment and share it. Tell all your friends. Kyle?
Yeah, I don't do it as often as I'd like, but I do occasionally stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Kyler_gaming. And I'm also on Twitter at Kyler_gaming. Don't really tweet that much. I'm not really good at the social media stuff, but if there's if I ever tweet anything that you might need to know about me streaming or anything, that's where it's gonna be.
That's the strictly business Twitter.
Yes.
I was gonna say you should start posting your hurdle scores on that one.
Yeah, probably, but
well, whatever.
It's okay.
Yeah, follow me for my hurdle scores. That's the only thing interesting I post. So.
Unless you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
You got some pretty hot takes on wrestling.
I tweet about wrestling quite a bit, but other than that, that's it. So, all right, guys. Thanks a lot for listening, watching, whatever the case may be. And until next time, see ya.